So as a duo, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen won 6 championships. MJ and Pippen were named to the first team all-defensive team 5 times as teammates, the second most by a duo of all time. So that got us thinking, if MJ could pick any player in the history of the game as his running mate, who would he want? Jay Will joining the conversation. Good to have you back with us. Stephen A., I'll start with you. Who should MJ want as his running mate? Would you go KD, LeBron?
I'm going to go Kevin Durant. When I think about what this brother brings to the table at 6'11", with his shooting skills, his ability to spread the floor, and his length and lankiness as a defender, I like both. For Michael Jordan. I think that would be a better situation. Not only that, I think that Kevin Durant would have an easier job because he's more efficient offensively as a shooter than LeBron James is. He's a marksman extraordinaire. He can get his shot off at any time, and he can shoot long range, which obviously means he can spread the floor. Plus, he's a significantly better free throw shooter than LeBron James as well. I think when you take into account what Jordan brings to the table with his abilities to have a marksman like that, who also would be easier, he would accept being 1A or B to Jordan's A side easier, because Kevin Durant is one of those guys that doesn't need the number of shots that others would need in order to be as efficient and as effective as he is. And he's a bit deferential in his personality at sometimes. He did it with Russell Westbrook. He did it to some degree with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, even though he was never a third offensive option. We understand that. But his personality, along with just the style, his game itself, I think it's a better fit for Michael Jordan than LeBron James' game would be.
I can see why you say that. KD is the kind of player, no matter what team, even theoretical team you make in the history of basketball, if you add KD, he just made it better. He's unselfish. He plays defense on 5 positions if you need him to, and switches if you need him to. Whatever you need him to do, he can bomb from outside, take it to the hole. He's a willing passer. He's just a great player, and an efficient scorer makes any team better. But the answer is actually LeBron James. Well, it's 2 alphas. No, it's not. Jordan's the alpha, and LeBron defers in that case. Jordan's the scorer. And by the way, when you look at what actually has happened, like KD in his career was on a team with an alpha who really is a score-first guy in Westbrook. They never won a championship, and they had other great teammates. And like, they've had everything they really needed, couldn't quite get it done. When he went to Golden State, he became the primary scoring option on a team with all-star caliber shooters around him. But in fact, when you look at how Jordan did it, Jordan, 72 wins and the chip in under 7 games, the greatest season in the history of basketball, 6-0 and never a Game 7 in the finals. He did it with his number 2, Scottie Pippen. You know who Scottie Pippen basically is, or who LeBron is? LeBron is a souped-up Pippen. You don't think of him defensively like that, but LeBron at his best in Miami was one of the all-time great defenders. And LeBron, like Pippen, not a great shooter, but shoots it well enough, is a pass-first guy mentality who scores just because he can. He can score so easily, you're going to have him score. A lot like a souped-up Pippen. And we already saw what Jordan did with a souped-up Pippen. Never really came close to losing. So actually, it's counterintuitive, but Jordan and LeBron, I know it's weird to say counterintuitive, the 2 best players ever, Jordan 1, LeBron 2, is also the best pairing.
Max and Stephen A., first off, before I even get into this question, I wanted to address something with you both. I first off would like to apologize to you both and to the public. I made a mistake last time I was on this show. We got into an argument about, first off, Stephen A., thanks for schooling me on that, but we got into an argument about asymptomatic, and I kind of misspoke and took the stance that you could, tests wouldn't be able to tell if you're asymptomatic. You both were correct. I don't want to misinform, misrepresent anything out there to the public. I think it's worth me apologizing that was wrong. And Stephen A. Smith, I understand what the argument was about the end of the season, about actually coming back and playing the season. So you guys, props and kudos on that. Both big brothers, thank you for that and allowing me to do that. As it relates to this argument, I just always want to be real with you guys. You guys know how I am and owning mistakes and moving forward. I also want to say, Stephen A., I relate to you on this one with KD. Max, I think you bring up a really good point about LeBron James. I do say this, though. Just if they are playing in the triangle, the triangle does have a tendency to take the ball out of the hands of the point guard. So Stephen A. Smith, back to your point on this one. If the ball inevitably is taken out of the hands of the point guard, you need guys who are capable three-point shooters, consistent three-point shooters. That's where KD, for a career shooting 42% from the three-point line or around there, his marksmanship from the outside combined with his ability to be like that Scottie Pippen, that point forward that can pass, get people involved in the plays. You can put him on the pinch block just like Jordan. He can hit turnaround fadeaways. That skilled arsenal of what Kevin Durant and Michael Jordan will bring together, and also knowing that KD loves Michael Jordan and that fierce competitiveness that they both have. I'm not saying LeBron James can't fit in. I just think that, Stephen A., I'm with you. The pieces work out much better for Kevin Durant than I think LeBron James in that system.
Well, I want to bring this up because you brought this up the other day about the triangle. Speaking of Michael Jordan, speaking of Phil Jackson back in the day when, just covering the league the way that I did, speaking to Kobe, God rest his soul, on many occasions about this, all of them made it a point to educate me about the triangle in this regard. They talked about the triangle and they said the triangle was about movement. It wasn't necessarily about getting it out of the marquee player's hands. It was about movement taking place all over the place. Folks touching the ball, but still in the end, when someone needed to have the ball, they had the ball. You can move all you want, but it still ended up in Michael Jordan's hands. Shaquille O'Neal played in the triangle, and he would dominate for 3 quarters. But in the 4th quarter, who had the ball? It was Kobe Bryant. So this notion that the triangle took the ball out of your hands isn't necessarily correct. There's 24 seconds on the shot clock. Multiple people would touch it to feel involved, to cut, to make defenses work more than they wanted to. But in the end, those who needed to have the ball had the ball.